Hey guys, Bump here, bringing you another Dragonflight Frost video. They reworked Breath, right? It happened. They saw the problems with it and changed it quite significantly, right? Look up here. 25% damage increase to Breath, but a cost increase from 16 to 18 seconds. Is that a buff? Is that a nerf? You know, let's break it down. Let's talk about what's going on here and how it's going to impact us, yeah? First of all, to set the scene a little bit, you know, we in Raid currently get breath uptime, which is pretty much 100% in quite a lot of scenarios. You essentially, you pop breath at the start of the fight and you keep that going for the entirety until the boss dies. You know, this happens on Terrors, it happens on Council, multiple fights where you can actually leverage this and achieve this. Now, this is a bit of a problem, because it means that, you know, since breath needs to be up the entire time, if halfway through you drop it because you get, you know, forced out of range, you're kind of screwed. And it doesn't feel great to kind of end up losing half your power in that kind of way. It obviously can happen if breath is shorter, but like the amount of time where you can kind of mess up is much shorter then as well. The reason we can achieve this is twofold. One, we have lots of resource generating talent in the talent tree, and we can pick up Rune Hysteria as well as a Rune Forge. This just injects so much Rune power into rotation that we can just by default keep it up for a long time. Furthermore, AMS and AMZ can be used to soak up magic damage to generate Rune power. And in the raid that can happen quite a lot, like lots of bosses we can do this, which will even further increase your breath duration. Now, this change, it will lower your breath duration, and quite significantly so. When I look at simulations, you know, without this Rune power, you know, soaking shenanigans, we're looking at 45 to 60 seconds. All right, with it a little bit further, and then it depends on their bloodlust as well. 25% increased damage though, it means that even though your breath duration is shorter, it will deal more damage because of just that increase, right? And you're probably asking yourself, okay, is this a buff? Is it a nerf? What's happening? So the current indications say that this is a flat kind of change. The reduction in breath of time is accounted for by the increase in damage. So the spec essentially becomes more bursty, right? And you spend more time outside of breath than you did before. I think this is a great change, right? One of the big liabilities with Frost, especially in Mythic Plus, is that, you know, you either have breath or you got nothing. Yeah? By buffing the burstiness of breath means that, you know, if a pack doesn't live that very long, or you get, you know, sent out due to a mechanic, the loss isn't that as great. And I think, you know, a healthy breath duration is around 40 seconds. Then it truly becomes like a 2-minute CD. In Raid, it's not a cooldown anymore. It's just something that you maintain for entire to the fight, which doesn't make much sense to me. And in Mythic Plus, unless you chain tap packs, you lose out a ton of overall, because breath is supposed to be, you know, 1 to 2 minutes. Otherwise, you lose a lot of power from it. Doesn't make much sense. So overall, right, to summarize, the total amount of damage you will do with a breath build will stay roughly the same. That's what our indicators say, but it's going to be more bursty. And I think that's definitely a positive. Like generally, if you could do breath in 10 seconds and it would deal as much damage now, that would be insane. Because you would have much easier time finding that 10-second window, right? Just to look at extreme, it is generally better to have a burstier kind of damage profile on your cooldown, right? Furthermore, it helps an absolute ton in Mythic Plus, because we don't arbitrarily lose a lot of power because any given pack doesn't last long enough for your pack doesn't chain pool. I think it's very toxic to be in an environment where essentially if the tank isn't chain pooling, you're not at your full potential, right? That's not where we want to be. So great changes overall, very happy about it. I think this is going to be healthy for Breath of Sindragosa overall, right? Moving on to Temple Number 7. To be fair though, like Obliteration, it's looking spicy for next patch, so might not even care about how breath is short or long, whatever, if we were going to play obliteration anyway, you know. Anyway, one small change as well. We got a frost strike. We got that the damage increased and the rune power cost increased as well. And this has to do with sorting out the resource economy with frost. Currently, we very rarely care about rune power, except when we keep it off the Breath of Sindragosa. Like obliteration builds, you kind of look at rune power, you're like, yeah, we have loads of it, we don't care about that. That's not a kind of healthy position to be in. So increasing damage frost strike by 10% and the cost as well will mean that it will feel more impactful in rotation, at least slightly so. But like your overall resource economy will also be better, right? You will generate a bit closer to the amount of rune power that we actually spend, for instance. You won't be overcapping overall. Alright, so, you know, summarizing, breath duration is shorter, but the spec itself hasn't been nerfed or buffed. But overall, I'm very happy about that. That's where I want to see it. I want to see breath being around 30-40 seconds. That's my ideal place to be in, yeah. Obviously, there's probably more changes that we want to see with frost, for instance, being a bit more, being better at dealing damage outside of cooldowns in AoE, for instance, one of them. But, you know, I think this is a great step in the right direction. I think it's healthy for the spec overall. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about these changes? Are you happy? Not happy? What would you like to see? Anything else? You know, upvote, downvote, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.